Don't tell me you're that naive. Do you know how he got the moniker The Pure? He somehow got it into his thick head that evil is rampant everywhere and that it's best to purify it with fire. So he goes around setting everything on fire. Sure, it's pure afterwards because there's nothing left. Well, apart from the ashes of burned corpses, obviously, but that's not something anyone in Camelot cares about, is it? My arse is purer than that fellow, even right after I take a huge dump.
I cannot wait.
See? Both of them are crazy, mad as coots. And unless one of them comes to his senses, the entire South will go up in flames. It will be purified, that's for sure. But I don't plan on dying for Camelot's moronic ideas. The captain of the Orns of the South should support his people. Of course, traditionally, it means supporting Camelot as well. But what difference does it make which banner flies on that keep of ours, eh? Maybe I don't have a very traditional approach to leadership like Fergus does, but everything I do is for the good of my men. Who do you think persuaded those Camelot snobs to finance the rebuilding of the lighthouse under the guise of restoring the splendor of the South? Me, of course, and I was using that money to stockpile our supplies and strengthen our defenses. I mean, who the hell needs a second lighthouse? Why was it built in the first place? If any northern nobles had ever deigned to move their asses to the south and think about it for 5 seconds, they'd have come up with it themselves, wouldn't they? What do you think? Striking a deal with the tribes is the only way for the Horns of the South to regain its former glory. With their fearless army and reserves of Weirdstone, combined with my business sense, we'll soon make the South independent of those leeches from the capital. If we allow the Del Rida tribes to settle in the South, they'll become a military force all of Avalon will have to reckon with. There will be no more bandits, no more crippling taxes for Camelot. People will be able to peacefully live out their days, no matter how many they have left. This is the only sensible solution. Only through an alliance with the tribes will we regain peace and independence. They'll take care of the fighting, and I'll deal with the economy. The people of the South will finally be safe. No more hunger, no more waiting for the lordships in Camelot to kindly turn their coiffed heads in our direction. No more of our blood spilled in raids by desperate bandits. But that's enough talking for now.
Tell him about the crypt.
Why?
Anyone who found a way to get through my men deserves to know. Some people are swayed by arguments, but others need something more tangible. Your vision alone wouldn't persuade any of my people to fight, but I just needed to show them the crypt. And I quickly understood who has always been the true enemy.
I don't really have a choice, do I? In the sunken village, you'll find the entrance to Seawald's crypt. Everyone knows the story about the bad druids who sealed and flooded the place, which is true, but only up to a point. Well, it just so happens that my companion here broke those old seals and replaced them with his own.
Take the sigil.
Behind the statue, you'll find a place where it fits. You'll see that the story is a little different from what we've been telling ourselves. And if that doesn't convince you that the foundations upon which Camelot were built are more the colour of shit than ivory, nothing ever will. You can get into bed with Galahad for all I care.
Go there. See it with your own eyes. Then come back to us. I know we can count on your help.
With our initiative,
wanderer in the sunken village. You must be lost. Back in the day, you just needed to look at the stars and you'd know where you were going. Now even they are misplaced. I guess I'm just an old man listening to the sound of the sea and looking into the ashes. It's all the same. It's important, at least for me. Long ago, I decided to wait for something to happen. So, I'm waiting. For what's ahead of me. But I can feel that it's closer than ever. Everything that's around us. It's not yet the end. And that thought really bothers me. It's the cycle of life. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you're afraid, it means you're struggling with something too much, my friend. Sometimes you just need to sit and look. Watch everything turn. Monsters. I think you misunderstand. I don't see any monsters here. Only lost villagers. Still clinging to their home. It's sad. But as you can see, not much depends on us. The world just keeps on happening. And you happen along with it. They were given some time which they've tried to use as much as they could. That's all. I'm glad they allow me to stay here despite what happened. I like this place. Beautiful scenery. The sunken village was not always sunken. But one day, someone, undoubtedly important, made a decision, undoubtedly necessary, that it would be better to make it so. So the wave came and made the village into the sunken village. And its inhabitants... well, you can see for yourself. I know that some druids did it. Specific individuals, although their names have long been forgotten. This is no great mystery, my friend. You'd have to ask those responsible for the flood. Who knows what's going through people's heads? Maybe someone ordered them to do it. And we'll never know. That's a good question. Maybe they burned during the Charred Conclave. Maybe not. Nevertheless, the punishment was delivered and justice prevailed. Once again, the world was made a better place. At least that's what those who set fire to the stakes preach. All in the name of the Word. Among others. This wouldn't have happened if not for Camelot's desperation. Many tragic decisions were made. I don't know if the word was so unambiguous, or if its interpretation failed. What happened on the fields of the Charred Conclave wasn't just about the flood, my friend. It was about things and forces we don't understand. Long enough ago for people to have no chance of discovering why it happened. And yet recently enough that this place still reminds us of it. Perhaps I was sitting on the same deck then, eating my afternoon snack. Or perhaps I was begging on the cobbled streets of the royal city. In short, it doesn't matter. Now the village is what it is, and the past has washed away. At least it can still be home for them, and I'll stay and look. These are interesting times indeed. I have everything I need, the entire world in one place. There is something you could help me with. A small favor. I have a friend who made a home for himself in a pretty nice place. Quite a spacious cave underneath the keep. Beautiful view, peaceful and quiet. Every now and then, I brought dressed some fish so the poor guy wouldn't starve to death. If you would be so kind as to do it for me this time, I haven't been able to visit him for a while now. Oh, it's good to know that my friend isn't starving.
I am Seawolf Firstfoot, the one who scouted the land before the traitor Arthur set foot on it. Yes, it is my legacy. The Jewel of the South, the safe haven of honorable men. I've been here for so long, it doesn't matter anymore. I was loyal. I was devoted. Arthur wanted more. Arthur betrayed me. We're stuck here, me and my men, between life and death. You can't free me through death. Many have tried. Yes, and grant death to all of my loyal soldiers. If you ever find a way, come to us. Grant us the mercy of death. The Dalriata promised me revenge. They understand what happened here. Everyone who comes here has the right to ask. I was the most loyal of Arthur's men. I was the first to go ashore and take on any danger that might arise in this new and unfamiliar land. Then came the war. I fought by his side, shielded him with my own body. I trusted him. But Arthur wanted more. Arthur longed to possess a power equal to that of our enemies. So Merlin decided our king must first become immortal. Only then could he achieve greatness. But Merlin needed volunteers. Trusted people to go first to make sure that his methods were effective. So we wouldn't risk Arthur's life in trying to grant him immortality. They thought I had died, so they buried me. Arthur's greed and Merlin's obsession made me what I am now. Arthur should have made sure. They thought I was dead, but I heard everything. I know there were others after me. I know that the king didn't hesitate to do anything to achieve his goal. He experimented on all the knights, abusing their oath. He told them it was for the greater good. Their lives, our lives, meant nothing to him. Then, he revealed what he really wanted to become. He tried to become one of them. He sacrificed the lives of the noblest of men, and this is the greatest possible betrayal. We cannot be helped, and we cannot be killed. The Dalriata promised to burn down Camelot, avenge the memory of all my brothers. Camelot was built on betrayal. People have the right to live in truth. But when Camelot falls, we will finally be free. Build a new world. Let the dead leave this one.
So, what do you think? Yes, it's all a facade, and it's just seawall. Think what else they must be hiding, huh? Really, there's no point in invoking tradition any longer, as it's worth shit. The only thing that matters is safety and loyalty towards the one who can provide it. Now I'd say it looks like someone needs to die. Somehow, you unwittingly became the most important person in the region because your decision will change how the entire situation unfolds. Galahad needs to die, of course. That will solve some of our problems. We'll say he got himself into trouble, and then we'll sweep the entire matter under the rug. We'll be able to continue our talks with the tribes. By the time someone in Camelot finally gets off their ass and comes to investigate what's happening here, it'll be too late. Why are you acting so surprised? I mean, it's either him or us, right? If we allow him to nose around here, he'll quickly find out about my plan for advancing the south. And if he does find out, I promise I'll drag you down with me. I mean, you are a friend of the Del Reader, aren't you? I doubt there is any other way that wouldn't result in a full-blown war between Camelot and the tribes. And without half our garrison ended up burnt or on a stake for treason or some other nonsense. Meanwhile, I can't afford to target any of them myself, or it would complicate the situation even further. As you see, you're the only one that can do it. So I leave the choice to you. Wise decision. Good luck. You go ahead and I'll placate the horns. Make sure the men don't suspect anything. Yeah?
Stop right there. Who are you? And what do you want here? It's Sir Galahad to you, vagrant. But it's true, this is our camp. We're his personal guard. But you won't be meeting tonight until you tell us why you're here. It's true that this pin obliges me to take you to the night. But did you actually earn it? Or did you just pluck it from a corpse? Well, that's for Galahad to decide. Go. But bear in mind that Galahad is not a patient man. I only hope your cause is worth his time. Otherwise, we'll be carrying you out in a sack. The door is open. You'll find Galahad inside. Try not to make him angry.
Oh, who goes there? I hope this is important. Otherwise, you're going to burn. Along with my useless personal guard, fitting punishment for wasting my time. Depends on who's asking and what they want. Alright, just be quick. I'm not known for my patience. pit.
Dozens of the best Del Reader warriors are holding the temple.
I'm sure that when Galahad arrives, we will be able to defeat them together. I know it won't be easy, but it is the only way.
Can't you see that One Eye will stop at nothing to destroy Camelot and all its representatives, including us?
I wouldn't expect anything else from that bunch of savages. What they consider their greatest power is, in fact, their greatest weakness. Their blind fury is no match for the tactics of Camelot's army.
What bloody tactics? What are you on about? It's like talking to a bloody wall. You're here, finally. Tell me you have good news, or I'm gonna lose it.
What?
Phew. One less thing to worry about.
Traitor! You are both traitors!
Feargas, calm down. For obvious reasons, I couldn't tell you anything about this, and judging by your reaction, I were right. You have to understand, it were the only reasonable solution to the situation we're in.
Reasonable? No reason could excuse such treachery.
Not even a full-blown war between Camelot and the tribes unfolding on our territory, in the haze of the weirdness as well.
Camelot is our sovereign. Sovereigns don't betray their subjects, and the subjects shouldn't betray their sovereigns. We have served Camelot since the foundation of the Horns of the South. If we are to fall, we should fall under Camelot's banner.
Please, just stop that drivel. Camelot decided we can't handle our orders. And we can't, because instead of sending us decent recruits, they send drunkards, scum, and thieves. Anyone who are left in the villages after the army has already taken the ones who are any use. And what do Camelot do? They send the butcher to motivate us. And how does Galahad motivate people?
But
do you really want people to burn on the stake because their boots weren't shiny enough, do you?
I won't listen to this anymore.
That wasn't so bad. He feels slighted, and we need to give him time to think it over, but I'm sure he'll eventually understand. Thank you for the help. Without you, this could have ended tragically. Now, I have to figure out how to deal with the tribes, but in a way that works for us. And I have to explain all of this to my men. I don't know which of those things will be more difficult, to be honest. An honest matter. What do you need? Ah, right. See, the problem with Excalibur, or indeed any of King Arthur's blades, is that you need to prove you're worthy of wielding it. How are you supposed to do that? Hell knows. But if the pin that secured your entry to the Horns has led you here, I think I know what the one who gave it to you might have been thinking. You see, there are many different legends. According to one of them, there are a few places on Avalon where you can prove yourself worthy, whatever that means. And one of those places, as you can probably guess, is nearby. Have you seen the old gong in the sunken village? Well, many years ago, when people still went to the woods for a shit instead of using a privy, it was part of a certain ritual. Only the people who passed the ritual could become keepers. Well, none of the living keepers were recruited that way, so we don't really know what happens during the ritual. That's why Galahad now appoints keepers and the captain chooses them. It's just safer that way. I only know that you need to sound the gong and then lie down to sleep at its base. If you wake up, I mean, when you wake up again in the morning, you'll know you've been deemed worthy. Unfortunately, the gong is broken, so first you'll need to find a way to fix it. And since it's made of weird steel, that's not going to be easy, is it? Fortunately, Oshbridge should be able to help you. A little bird told me he likes to play with weird steel when nobody's looking. Just tell him I sent you, and he won't give you any trouble. Well, of course they've tried. It turns out that the keepers who passed the ritual could hold it longer than anyone else. Maybe it'll be enough for what you need, and maybe something entirely different will happen. It's your risk and your decision. Go, and may the southern wind be in your favor. If you need anything from the old captain, you know where to find me.